Welcome everyone. It was just a test, and the test succeeds. We are able to come online. Uh, like before, we have Anup with us here today again, and we are again going
Hello
to
everyone, this is Hiral.
hi. And again today we are going to go back to our shenanigan where we are pretending to be writers, and we are trying to create a completely different world that does not exist yet, right? So it's just part of our new experiment for 2026, like what we did for 2025. We had to once something interesting every week, something interesting every year. And this year we have been trying to dip our fingers into the proverbial ink and sketch something, right? And the story has been ongoing for some time. We have been working in it surprisingly consistently, and yeah, we are back again here. And every new week we do this video. Uh, I'm surprised because I don't I had not expected that we would continue this for so long, but we have been doing it so quite 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 often now. Anup, how are you doing? How do you feel? How is the experiment this year is ongoing in your point of view?
Hello Siraz. I'm fine. The weather was merciful with us this week, right? Like it's not that warm anymore. And besides that, everything is going fine. About the book experiment, I think it's going quite well. We are writing, right? And it certainly feels different than reading a book and talking about it, right? Now, sometimes it also feels kind of slow because we are writing like one page, right? And
Mm,
with reading we would read like 100 or 200 pages a week, right?
mm,
But then again, I feel like now I am on the writing desk, right? So I am creating something, so it definitely feels good and
mm.
interesting, I would say. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a similar feeling for me as well. Right? It's trying to create something, right? It's all in your head at the end of the day. I remember reading Stephen King's book, which is called On Writing, where he very famously says that the only way to telepathy is writing. You're basically writing your thoughts down, and then somebody else is reading it, and there's going to be no words that is going to be spoken between you and the reader, right? So the only means of
Mhm.
telepathy is so. However, in case of my telepathy, I'm always kind of struggling. So um, I I'm writing, even though I'm not very satisfied with my writing, but I write it
Mhm.
to shrug off the desire to want to write perfectly every time. And
Mhm.
I'm just
Mhm.
going to try and write as poorly as I can write, trying to make it as ridiculous as possible. So that has been the experience so far, what I'm trying to do. But it has been
Yeah.
a fun experience. I've quite enjoyed it. I haven't written something so long over multiple days uh, with an overarching narrative. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's an attempt that I'm trying to work on, and let's see how it's going to be. So let's continue with the tradition.
This
You
was
go
the same
first.
thing, you know. Yo,
So there's some interruption in the network today. I don't know. Mm, everything's not working so well. Anup, are you still there on the other side?
I'm back again.
So, would you
Yes,
like
yes, I'm
to
there.
continue the tradition and uh, entertain our listeners?
Sure. Let's go. Let's summarize a bit. It's been a while, so I think a little summary is always good, right? So my book deals with the trash. It's basically a prison, and where initially we went over the life of some prisoners, like some inmates, right? And then the story kind of shifted to a family who are outside the trash, right? Like there was Ralph, Anna, Sophia, and Wilhelm. Right.
Yep.
Ralph being the son, Anna the daughter, Sophia, the wife, and Wilhelm, the father, right?
Yep,
And
yep.
they were having some talk, and then Rolf went to meet some friend of him, right? And then Anna and Sophia, they were having some girls' talk where Sophia was um trying to say a story about what it was back in the days, like the
Mm,
relationship between the inmates or
mm,
the prisoners and the real world outside. And then they got interrupted. Anyways, here I go. From this week's part, the boys met Sam in the usual location at the Red Forest. So, what was so important to meet here today? Asked Martin, turning his head to Sam. You guys know Mark, right? Said Sam. The eighth grader? Asked Ralph. Yes, that's him, replied Sam. He told me he saw strange people lying on the ground behind the Eagle's Hill. The Eagle's Hill? That place is strictly forbidden to enter, uttered Tommy. What does he mean with strange people? Asked Ralph. I don't know. He said they were weird, said Sam. You guys aren't planning to go there, are you? Asked Tommy. We four are not just planning, but we are going there now, replied Martin. You want to chicken out again? After a slight hesitation, Tommy said, Of course not. Ralph and Sam were just wishing that Tommy would always be the first to chicken out, and they hated him because today he actually didn't. They knew that the both of them could not argue with Martin anymore. All right, let's go then, said Martin. The boys then started their journey. It would take 30 minutes to the nearest point to the hill. From there, they would have to walk for around 1 hour to get to the hill. The forest was red, and it grew more and more red as they approached the hill. They stopped near the destination and hid their bikes behind the bushes. I don't know if it was a good idea to come here, said Tommy in an anxious voice. Martin didn't care less. He was excited to finally see a new terrain. The red forest was beautiful, the red leaves, the red flowers, and due to the sun, even the river reflected the red color. As they entered deeper and deeper in the forest, the boys stopped, seeing the slope of the hill. There was no official path here, so they had to walk straight through the bushes. Ouch, said Sam. He was walking in front of them. What happened? Asked Ralph. I got pricked, said Sam. Some drop of blood fell down. Sam was pricked on his right leg. The boys saw a weirdly symmetric bush of ome rose. It was pretty dense. It seems they don't want us to climb the hill, said Tommy. It sure seems that way, said Martin and grinned. After washing the wound, the boys continued to find a path. Ralph and Sam now were also getting excited, unlike Tommy. Boys, we should head back. I think Mom is worrying, said Tommy. Shut up, said Sam. Then they found a small opening in the bushes. They collected some sticks and started making the opening bigger. Then they started to climb the hill. After climbing it for some time, they noticed that the ome rose bush was actually too symmetrical from above to be grown up by nature. After half an hour, they finally reached the top of the hill. The top was awfully horizontal, and they started heading to the other side to catch the view of the other side. They were surprised to notice that the other side was completely green. It was not as dense as the red forest behind them. Wow, look at that, said Sam. Tommy stopped worrying for a while. It seems that the greenery scene relaxed him. Then Rolf started noticing something peculiar. There were some weird black shapes lying under the trees, some in masses and some rather lonely. Some looked like they were standing and some like they were sitting. The weirdest thing was they were just standing there without any movements. He regretted that he didn't brought his binoculars with him. What are those black things? Said Martin. And by now, and I'm done, Firas.
Come on. I was really into it. I was, I felt like I was Tom, checking the, okay. Oh, okay, that was quite something. That's some way to end the chapter, to be honest, or the day. Really looking forward to what happens. A strong, don't you don't have to spoil it, but I have a strong feeling it looks like some kind of mass grave or something. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it feels that way. Oh, that's good. Your story is dealing with something quite dark. I have to say, it's well done.
Thank you.
Nice.
Maybe it is. It is.
Well,
Some bodies. Maybe it's not.
maybe.
No, but the chapter is actually not in the end, right? So I just stop at this point because I felt like I need some creative pause.
Mm-mm. Okay, so yeah,
Now
I,
you.
I will go. The story is, yeah, you can go through the videos. Is basically about a space travel. That's kind of trying to write kind of a science fiction. The thing is, there in year 2100 there was an accident while in one of these touristic space travel companies, like how they are doing for some of the celebrities right now. And then this resulted in a big uproar and uh, caused mass chaos. So the government and all the institutions they kind of released, made all the technology open source in an effort to kind of make it more accessible to people and more uh, available. Uh, I mean, their goal was just to calm the place down, but this organization called Departure, which was formed as a consequence of it, tried to make it more open source and, yeah, encourage people to travel into space. And our main character, he's traveling to space. He has stumbled into a planet where there was signature of life, and they made this travel into this planet. And the main character has landed on the strange world, experiencing strange things. He has a new companion, and yeah, he was just passing his time when there was
Mm,
this acidic rain that started, and he had to take shelter uh, under one of the crevasses. And this is where this week starts. Okay. Mm.
mm,
In the still safety of the cave, I could not help but reminisce about the days that went by. Seems like it has been sufficient time for me to experience the shock of my situation, and I was suddenly missing home. It had been long since the feeling of nostalgia had enveloped me to such extent, and I suddenly started to feel nervous. I will quite possibly never be able to return back home. I might never even meet any other human. My partners might have passed away in the accident. The sense that I will be lost somewhere out in nowhere made my breath shallow, and the sense of enormity of universe started to dawn on me. After all, I was just a 19-year-old with, sorry, after all, I was just a 29-year-old with much of my life still ahead of me. The calling of the adventure and the possibility of writing myself into the greatness had motivated me to take upon this adventure. I thought back to my childhood. My parents, both of them were normal people. My dad was employed with interspace communication. He was a network development engineer tasked with maintaining and establishing new communication methods across the planets. He was responsible for maintaining the inner planet network and ensuring it works well for all the space goers. My mother was a predictive biologist specializing in alien life. Her task was to recreate animal lives based on the environmental conditions of their respective planets. Growing up, we spent so much of our life simply talking about space, aliens, speculating into space travels, and so on. My dad and I used to go regularly to Star Watch. It was difficult to find the best place to see the star from Earth, with all the light pollution. As a result, we would hike the rural plateaus of Tibet or airy desert of Australia or take a boat into the Pacific. We had made it a mission to wander into the sky. My mom was not very interested into the outer world. However, she had her own muse. She would grow strange plants in the backyard. Her secret was cross-breeding species, even though they didn't produce anything of value. The mystery of life and its ability to come seemingly from anything has been the greatest mystery yet not solved. The world really took a different turn after departure was established. Built with the motivation of making space technology accessible to everyone, meant that many of the guardrails to other fields also had to be loosened. This meant so many of the technology monopolized under the protection of the governmental institutions and morality were out into the public domain. This meant, under the guise of making energy more accessible, nuclear energy came into the public domain. To make food for long space travels, genetic engineering became open access. The communication and network technology also all bared out into the society. It took a lot of cultural learning to make them safe, and it required many people to die before the culture of humanity internalized the risks into its mode of strange rituals. Nevertheless, the life took a leap and everyone was able to enjoy the fruit of collective human knowledge. People now simply live much longer than before, have much more access to the world and universe by extension, and even more personal freedom. This also meant more people were able to contribute to it and help further the knowledge. Every human accident was another brick on the building called humanity. There were, however, still people who were left behind, crushed by the institutions and always under the weight of poverty. However, the government had failed many people around the world, and many countries had decided to simply leave the tyranny to few. My younger sister Tammy was a lifestyle influencer and was not into the rigors of science. Trying on new clothes, eating in new places, and doing random dances brought her happiness. She was like the black sheep, detached from the life her parents and brother were into. She was often opposed to our erudite conversations and preferred the smaller things in life. While we often quarreled about even the smallest things in lives, smallest things, there was a lot of fondness between the two of us. Tammy wailed when I announced I was planning to join the group of space hoppers. While my parents were wary of my decisions, they understood my coming of they understood the two sorry they understood my coming of the age. Having done their own space hopping back in the day, they completely understood my decision. However, my sister, who was 5 years younger than me, thought it was ridiculous to be one of those foolhardy space hoppers. With so much advancement in technology, space hopping had been so much safer. However, it still meant years and years into the cosmos. Some people only made it back home after decades with their lives completely ripped apart due to the flood of time. Space hoppers were adventurers, campers who only camped into the space. The goal often was to travel to Mars, Moon, or any of the celestial bodies, spend the weekend or more, and return back. The sophisticated satellite system in the Milky Way, especially inside the Kuiper Belt, meant that anyone could undertake the trip. There were also organized party travelers into these places. They were the most popular travel of the time. I had done these travels with my parents in the past. However, doing it on my own with some of my peers was something new. It it meant I was growing up. So that's it from me.
Yeah,
Uh,
nice.
I while I read it, I feel so many redundant words and sentences that I'm doing. So I feel like I have to correct them. Probably do a
Mm,
round of editing, right?
mm, mm.
And yeah, but I like how it's taking shape of what I'm trying to do.
I know exactly what you mean. You know, like if I read, I also kind of lie to the audience sometimes. I leave out some words, you know, because I kind of notice like, yeah, that word that doesn't make sense in a certain part, right?
Uh, I try
Yep.
not to do that, to be honest with you. So
Oh, really?
the thing is, I pause because I feel like it's like okay, I can write this better. So for anyone
Mm.
uninitiated, we just write it however it is, and we are just reading it, right? There has not gone much editing into it. The
Yeah,
goal is to edit
yeah.
post completion,
Mm.
and I read and I think like, okay, is it okay? Should I read this because these words are
Yeah.
coming again and again, and it feels really weird.
I know what you mean. I also use like some weird acronyms, you know, like so I had written it would take 30 minutes, right?
Yeah,
Because we literally write that in our WhatsApp chat, right? And then
exactly.
I
Yeah.
noticed like, ah, okay.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but when I was reading it right now, I can clearly see the two different times when I started writing this. I don't know if you feel it
Mm,
when you're listening to it, but while writing
mm,
this, I
mm,
wrote this in two sitting. The first sitting
mm,
was, yeah, uh, I was in a different frame of mind, and the second sitting I
mm.
was in another different frame of mind, and I can distinctly see the style change. You know, it's almost like the
Yeah.
confidence in my writing completely changed in this two sitting. It was really funny, but
Yeah.
yeah, this is some of the experiences that we've been talking about that are kind of new to us, but
Mm,
also
mm,
quite
mm.
fascinating if you think about it.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much, Anup. Yeah, what do you think? How the story will go like? How do you like it so far?
It's good. It's good. It has certainly changed, like from the beginning. I feel a little bit, right? Like where it goes. Also the writing style. I kind of feel that in the initial weeks you were describing it like really in thorough detail, right? Like every part, right? Um, Now I think the focus is more on the backstory of the character, right?
Yeah.
And but so that's a difference what I noticed. But story wise, I think it's going well. And story wise, maybe I don't know. Like our protagonist will make some friends, and he. By the way, what happened with Lilliput or Lilliput?
Yeah, both.
Where,
So
where is he now?
both of them are in inside the cave. So our uh,
Okay.
main protagonist has kind of found a way
Mm,
outside of the. So it started raining, so he just went to take shelter inside a cave along with
mm,
David, and
mm.
he's just reminiscing. Just wanted to give some exposition of how we ended up here. I
Ah,
didn't
okay,
want
okay,
to
okay,
write like a
okay.
linear story
Okay.
where this
Mm,
happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, but
uh,
rather wanted to make it something like um, where we jump at least towards the start of it because I have a feeling that
mm, mm.
giving it some more context will help with the world building.
No,
But
I get
I
it.
think,
Yeah,
yeah,
but like a small interruption from Delipit, I wouldn't mind that. Like, hey, what are you thinking about, right?
yeah, yeah,
That would be really nice.
yeah. I think that would be in the coming chapters. I think I would write about them. Um but I've been trying to give some more meat to our main character because we don't know the main character still, right? So
Mm, mm,
I think it gives you a
mm,
bit of picture of what the main character is like so that we can connect with the world that he sees. I mean, so far, at least from my
mm,
point of view, I feel there's so much of the outside world without even knowing who the
mm,
character is, and uh, yeah, I don't know. But the one thing I don't know if you have noticed is I have very few dialogues compared to you, right? So
mm,
I
mm,
have a feeling, I
mm,
always feel like something is missing. However,
mm,
I was
mm,
reading some books and uh, a thousand years of solitude or 100 years of solitude, I
mm,
forgot it. And
mm.
yeah, I found that this is a real style of writing. So I'm not doing necessarily anything wrong. So yeah, otherwise I was like maybe I'm writing it too amateurish, but I have a feeling it's not so.
Mm, mm, mm. I think I know what I mean. But then again, there is no right and wrong, right? Like you
Mm,
can invent a totally different, like new style, and I think that would be totally fine as well.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Anyway, then thank you very much, Anup. It was quite nice read. Uh, we are doing this yet again, and thankfully we keep doing
Mm,
this until we finish the story.
mm,
Uh, yeah. Uh, at least I enjoyed. Hopefully more actions happen in your story, and I will
mm,
also try to include some more action in my story rather than make it
mm,
into a
mm,
complete essay.
mm.
Okay.
Nice.
Then, do you
Thanks
have
for having
anything
me.
else you want to say to our audience at last?
No, no, I'm done. That's it.
Yep. Then thank you very much, and keep listening to us.